Why can't Georgia beat Alabama? We're talking about what happened in week 5 of this. I want to say glorious college football season, but I'm a little hurt right now. Um, but we're still talking about it. And we're going to talk about our Nitro CFB top 10. This is the Nitro College Football Show. I'm Burl.
And I'm a very angry street.
And I'm here for a very angry street. So like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the best college football talk. And let's dive right in, man. Georgia craps the bed again against Alabama. What is it about Alabama? Why is it that if the team on the other side of the field is wearing crimson, Georgia can't deal with it?
Well, last night, for the first time in a long time, I can 100% say that this game was on the coaching staff. There are lots of problems. There are little things that everybody's talking about. But this game is coaching. And it's not just the decision to not take the points. That's egregious. And I'll deal with that. But you had a bye week before this game. Your defense struggled at Tennessee. And what was the game plan that they came out with against an Alabama team that, after that Florida State game, had shown that they were hot with Ty Simpson at quarterback? And you thought it was a good idea to not pressure him? You thought it was a good idea to only bring 4 guys and to play back and to let them throw screen passes against you and not put any pressure on the quarterback and just sit back there? And when he did want to throw it, now they didn't throw it down the field much other after the Ryan Williams drop. I think they only tried one of their deep shot, and they didn't have to. But that, to me, is coaching. Yeah. That is a team that's not coached up and not prepared for a game that, hell, you had all year to prepare for this. This game was circled. This offseason, everybody knew. Bama hasn't been to Athens in 10 years. To come out and look like that, a week after you looked like that in the first quarter against Tennessee, where they start the game 8 of 8 on third down, including on the first freaking drive, when it was 3 straight third and longs. It wasn't just it wasn't short third down conversions. The first 3 were like, it was like 8 yards,
third and 7, yards, third and 8.
And the one that Ty Simpson, the very first one, Ty Simpson scrambled. That was a good play by the quarterback. The other ones, I mean, come on. Ryan Williams gifts you a play. He drops a wide open pass. Very next play, KJ Bolden
hits him in the
hands. Like, there is focus, and this team, and I know Kirby has said that they are young, but man, do they not focus when they need to? The tackling was piss poor, and you just can't keep digging yourself in these holes. And it's been happening.
Yeah.
The last 2 seasons have been painful because every week Georgia gets behind. Every week. And yeah, they're resilient. Yeah. Oh, great. That's a tough football team. But at some point, when you're playing a team that has more talent than you, which Alabama does, then you're not going to win.
Yeah, and the whole thing about the team being young, I would love to use that as an excuse, but in today's age of NIL, I don't think you can, because that young team that you have today is going to be completely different next year.
Right, and where Georgia's youngest last night was on the offensive line, and they actually played well.
Yeah, for as much as everybody wants to dog on the offensive line, yes, they had a few instances where it was bad. That 4th down, it was a bad block. But
that play should have never been called.
I know.
I mean,
but my point is, Georgia rushed for over 200 yards. We finally had a 100-yard rusher for the first time in years.
Right.
And the offense was rolling. We just weren't on the field.
There was points in the second half there. We were playing 2 true freshmen and a redshirt freshman on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And we were pushing Bama around. I mean, hell, second half, well, we only had the ball 3 times? 4 times?
Yeah, because even though we held them to 0 points in the second half, we still can't get off the field.
They chewed clock, man.
Yeah.
Georgia had 220 yards rushing. Alabama had what, like 110, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama had a 10-minute time advantage in the time of possession. Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah. It was 227 to 117.
It just being there last night and just the crowd was great. The atmosphere was awesome. The whole playing that dang sound after every tackle was annoying. Burn that and don't ever do that again. Let the band play on third down. But the lights, the lights and everything, that was cool. But
I'm mad that I didn't get to hear The Shining on third down every time.
Right.
I live for that now.
The crowd was great. The crowd was amped up. And everybody was positive. Honestly, I mean, people were frustrated in the crowd, but you walked to the bathroom, it was like, let's get it together. Let's go. Like, people were not negative Georgia fans that you've seen in the past. People were positive, and the crowd was in it, and they stayed into it. And there was times when it looked really bad. And the Georgia, the fans and the program did everything to set it up to win that game last night. They had No Sean there calling the Dawgs, and he did a great job. They had, there was tons of celebrities there. Anthony Edwards was there. Like, they set it up to be successful. And it
looked great. I saw a lot of people on Twitter complaining that the fans weren't loud enough and all this stuff. It didn't seem like that at all.
No, the fans were loud. It was loud.
If anything, I kind of felt bad for the fans from the sense of every third down, the defense isn't getting off the field, and now you're asking your fans to get up for another 3 downs.
They did, and in those first 2 drives when they couldn't stop anything, I mean, as the fans, we had to get up and yell and scream in the first quarter, like a lot over and over, and kept getting let down. I'm surprised that the fans stayed in as much as they did, because right there, you're going to wear your fans out in the first quarter. Like,
I was worn out, and I wasn't even there.
Yeah, yeah. So,
I mean, granted, I'm fighting COVID, but
yeah. So let's talk a little bit about. You did a great post wrap up last night, Burl, and it was awesome. Let me talk a little bit about what I saw in the stands. For one thing, the inability of Georgia to even rush the quarterback was evident early. I think it was the second Alabama touchdown pass, kind of over the middle. Like, as soon as you lined up, I go, he's going to have all day, and he's going to hit the guy in the middle. I said it to the guy in front of me, and as soon as he snapped it, he turns around and he goes, yeah, you called it. Like, you could see it. Georgia was bringing nothing, no pressure. Like, I saw the stat today. Ty Simpson had 40 dropbacks. Georgia got pressure on 5 out of 40. And those 5 that he did, Ty Simpson was 1 of 5. That's all you need to know. You pressure that guy and he makes mistakes. He was a 5-star out of high school. You give him time, he's going to pick you apart. And they did.
Oh, I know. I mean, like I said it last night, we've talked about it plenty of times. You go back and look at those recruiting rankings. Ty Simpson was right there with Drew Aller and those guys. And frankly, give me Ty Simpson over Drew Aller any day of the week.
Any day of the week. Yeah. I mean, Ty Simpson's playing great, and he looked great. He played a great game. Like, this wasn't last year's game where there were like fluke plays that Bama made, like the Ryan Williams stuff. There was nothing fluky that Bama did other than throwing that pass to their offensive linemen. Like in the last play where they ran that little shuttle to the running back who threw it to the receiver or whatever on the last first down of the game. Like, there was no like crazy where like guys made insane plays. They were just open. They were running lots of little screens. Every time that Bama moved the pocket, we were screwed at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Bama played a very sound, clean game, and
they were coached incredibly well.
They were. Georgia was outcoached in this game.
The worst I've ever seen Georgia outcoached in a game.
It was it was interesting because at Tennessee, like we should have lost that game. We didn't have any business winning that game.
Right.
Well, we should have won this game.
Yeah, FBI said we should have 80% chance to win this game.
Yeah.
As comparison, the week before when Georgia beat Tennessee, Tennessee's expectancy was 75%. And that's because they had a game-winning field goal. Georgia never led in this game at all. Like in the Georgia-Tennessee game, Georgia had a lead, touchdown lead. Georgia never led in this game, and it was 80% expected win percentage.
Yeah, like All News says, Bama ran 2 plays on 3rd down, screen pass, or pass up the middle.
Yeah.
They did. They executed it perfectly.
Yeah, the exception was the first down of the game. And we actually brought pressure on that, and Simpson made a play, and we had nobody back there, and he got like 20 yards. Like, and that's the thing. This game, it really, there's lots of little things you could point down to that Georgia should have won this game. Okay, let's count them out here. Frazier doesn't fumble. Frazier doesn't fumble on his own 15. Georgia defense bows up and gets a stop there, holds them to a field goal. Well, there's your field goal difference. Talon Taylor, wide open, catches the pass. He's a freshman. People are dogging on him for that. But, hey, you know what I say about that? The one thing that really makes me mad there, Talon Taylor's incredibly talented. He's going to be great. But he's a true freshman, and freshmen make mistakes on that. Where the hell is Noah Thomas? We spent NIL money. They've talked him up. He had this great summer. No targets. He's got 3 catches in 4 games.
Yeah, he's been non-existent this whole year.
Like, maybe it's great that Talon Taylor made that move and he got open, but could Noah Thomas done that? Or could we have, like, freshmen make mistakes, man?
I mean, it feels like our only 2 receivers are Colby Young and London Humphreys.
Well, and Branch.
Yeah.
Branch.
But we used him more as a running back last night.
Yeah, true.
He did have that awesome
one
third down.
Yeah, God, he got helicoptered between 3 people.
That was fantastic. But
yeah.
But
going back to things we could have won the game.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I want to talk about that Talon Taylor throw is, people have been crapping on Gunner about his game, saying, "Oh, he's mid. He's not going to get you anywhere."
Dude,
that's
he played great. Crap. He only had 20 pass attempts, and he had 130 yards, and he should have had 180 yards.
Exactly. Add another 51 yards to whatever he had. And
he had 2 great throws. He had a good – now, the criticism of Gunner was the first 2 series. He looked a little amped up, and he had a couple bad throws. But after those first 2 series, he played great. I didn't fault Gunner. I wish he'd have gotten, obviously, down near the goal line. Let's talk about the field goal. He should have gotten the first down there. I don't know why he chose to dive himself.
No, he actually got the first down.
That's what I thought.
So this is the other problem with that whole
Let's talk about it,
string of plays.
This is the biggest thing.
This is
the
whole game.
This is it. I mean, this is not why we lost, but this is why I lost.
So Gunner, he takes it, he runs, he scoots up, shoulder dives, and someone had a cell phone camera. I saw it on Twitter right before we went on, and they were actually on the 7-yard line, and Gunner was clearly across for the first down. And when all this was happening, I thought they were going to review the spot because they had done that a couple times earlier in the game.
Right.
And then we hurried up and took that out of the equation.
And then ran the dumbest play that I think Kirby's ever seen. And he tried to defend this after the game. Oh, we had this plan. We were always going to do this. Kirby, you are at home. This is the biggest thing that bugs me about that whole situation. You are at home. You've never led in this game. And you're going to tell me that you run out there and you're going to pitch it to your slowest running back and count on him to make somebody miss to get a yard when you need it. And instead, if they would have taken their time and not rushed up there, they might have reviewed it. So that's one bad part of it. Number 2, you've got a 235-pound quarterback who it was an inch short. Just snap it and go. Don't go in the freaking shotgun, line up under center and try to get it if you're going to do that.
Yeah, with your third down running back who's really a receiver.
Is a pass catcher. But like I said, but here's the thing. You're at home and you've never led. And you do that and you're telling your team that I don't think that we can hold them. That's what Kirby told the team right there.
Which is absolutely stupid.
Because they hadn't scored the whole half.
They hadn't scored the whole half. It's like the defense had actually turned it around and got it together.
And how many times over the years have we seen Kirby do this where he's like, well, I'm always going to go for it because I can get that, because we can get that. You know what we've proven this year? We can't get that. You watch the Austin Peay game. We can't get that. That's not our bread and butter.
We can get that when we don't try to run cute plays like that play was. Tried to run. When you look at that formation, it was a very weird formation. It was like in Varsity Blues.
It was a handoff, but then running. Yeah, like
it's like the oopty effing oop. It's toss it out to the short little guy who's going to get dragged down by a pinky.
Right. So, like I said, I'm frustrated because to me, this is Kirby might be the worst call of Kirby's career. People can point to the fake punt against Bama in the SEC championship in 2018, but Bama had all the momentum in that game. Like Kirby knew they weren't going to be able to stop him.
That play was just dumb. Like it just didn't make any sense. This was one that cost you the game.
This cost you the game. You were like I said, you were at home and they hadn't scored the whole game or the whole second half. Like, give yourself a chance.
And you were running it at will.
And you were moving at will. And so and you know how to play in overtime. You're at home. Like that decision, and then of course in the post game of we're going to do that 10 out of 10 times, and that's the play call. I've seen you say that, Kirby. You said it a couple years ago when we were playing Florida, and we had 8 shots at the end zone and we couldn't get in, and that was our dominant team. I saw it in Austin Peay. Sometimes that's a lot harder. Take the points when you are at home. Learn from your mistakes. This is a mistake. And some people are like, oh, yeah, no, I'm fine with Kirby making the call, but I'm mad about the play call. The decision to go for it was stupid. The decision to not let the refs review it was stupid. And the play call was dumb because you didn't have the personnel you needed to run it.
Yeah, it was a series of unfortunate events.
Right. And let's say, for example, that you are fine with that play call and Georgia gets the first down. Hell, picks up the touchdown there. You just told your team that I think you need to go the touchdown here because I think you can't stop them. What's that going to tell the defense? They thought they had to go for it a fourth down because we can't stop them. So what's that going to give them? We're up 4 now, and there's whatever time was left on the clock. They don't have confidence to even stop them. Like
I don't think the defense is going to be thinking about that at all.
I don't know, man. They were all in their heads about thinking about everything last night.
I think there was only one person that was all in their heads, and that was Kirby.
Yeah.
Because I said it last night when you saw his face whenever they cut to him at the sideline in that first half, it just looked like he was out of his element. It was strange. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's that. Like I said, Georgia had so many chances to win this game. But at the end of the day, all of that, all those plays, the fumble, the drop touchdown, not kicking the field goal. At the end of the day, we know why Georgia lost this game. It's because of third down defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why Georgia lost the game. Alabama was 13-19. Georgia was 2 of 8.
13 of 19.
Georgia was 2 of 8. They only had 8 opportunities. Bama had 19 third down opportunities. They had like 25 first downs in the game. I saw somewhere that 13 successful conversions on third down for first down was the most Georgia had given up in 30 years.
Yeah, just look at the total plays. Bama had 77 total plays to Georgia's 53.
Yeah.
That's over 20 more plays.
Right. Georgia had way more rushing yards and we were pretty close in the overall yardage and we barely had the dang ball. Like, so what does that tell me? Does anybody say that Georgia sucks? Like, that's the stupidest thing I've heard today because clearly Georgia doesn't suck. any football team that sucked would have got ran out of the building. They don't suck. They should have won the game. They didn't deserve to win the game, but they should have won the game just based on what happened. But what Georgia is, as we mentioned, is a young, flawed football team that is lacking what they've had in recent past on the defensive side of the ball. And while this team is so much better than last year at running the football, unfortunately, when you in these high scoring games, you kind of want that gunslinger mentality, right? But they just have a propensity for getting behind. There was some stat I saw the other day in SEC or in Power 4.
Yeah, the past 2 years.
Power 4 games, they have had like one lead in like their last 10 Power 4 games or something at halftime.
And that's like the complete opposite of how it was during the national championship runs.
Right. It was get up and squat on them, like.
Yeah. But all this talk about, I mean, there's some people that have gone off the deep end and say like, oh, we need to run everybody out of town, fire Bobo, fire Kirby, fire everybody. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Kirby's still the best coach.
He's the best coach in the country.
He's the best coach in the country. He is fallible though.
Right.
You're not going to find a coach that doesn't make mistakes. Even Nick Saban made mistakes. He did. Right. He did lose to University of Louisiana Monroe.
Right. Now, the one thing though, I think that may be coming. Georgia has all of its goals in front of it still. They lost to Bama last year. They won the SEC. They're a young team, and by the end of the year, they could be playing a lot better football. And hell, they could go on a run like Ohio State.
Well, also on that point, the team is good. The team is still good. You were 1 or 2 plays away from beating Bama, and everything is fine. Nobody gives a crap about anything. Oh,
that was a great resilient win. Like,
yeah,
nobody's even talking anything. So
exactly. So it's all
what
there.
I will say
in front of us. Like they're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. What I will say is that Georgia has flaws that have, since the national championship season, have been getting a little bit worse each year. That have just become a little bit more noticeable. Something that flaw. Last year, it was the inability to run the football. It's just been getting a little bit worse year to year, that's part of the landscape of college football. But when you play in the SEC, like, I think at some point Kirby's going to need to rethink a little bit about some of the staff he's got. And it's not to say that he needs to fire people, but you might need some fresh ideas sometimes. He's been here 10 years, and sometimes you need to shake it up. The one thing that Saban did for most of his career at Bama was he was cycling out his guys because they were going for other jobs, and it was bringing in fresh blood, and it was bringing in different people. And that helped him evolve, right? When Lane became his OC, that made Saban open up his offense, which led from Alabama being this defense, crush you, game manager, quarterback, to bringing in 5 stars to the 2020 team where they set the world on fire.
Yeah, Williams and Minchie just throwing it all over the place.
I mean, 2020 when you had Waddle and Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
And so at some point, like it's not, and once again, I'm not this person who says you need to fire people, but at some point you have to reassess, and sometimes it might be time to change some things up. And you just, like you said, you looked at Kirby and you saw how he was, and he's just flabbergasted that things aren't working. But then he goes into his press conference and he's still as hard-headed as he's always been about his stuff. And I love Kirby to death, and I want him to be the coach as long as he wants to be. And I think he's the best coach in America, and I don't want anybody else. But sometimes you got to look at yourself too, because you got to always be improving.
Yeah. As crazy as this sounds, I actually think our offense is fine. The offense has been doing well, and as much as everybody wants to crap on the offensive line, they've actually played pretty damn well. We're running the ball better than we did last year. And
I think the key will be consistency. I think you found what you need to play at the line. I mean, Ernest Green's a good player, but he's hurt all the time. So I think it's time to get Gaston, cement Gaston at the right tackle. Glover's playing pretty good, so cement him at that right guard. I don't know what the update is on Micah Morris. We went out. I guess he didn't come back, but if he's out, then you put Hughley in there.
Mm-hmm.
If not, Micah Morris, he stays there.
And those three guys are going to be awesome.
Right.
They're going to be absolutely awesome.
Right.
I mean, they've played all of 4 games of college football.
Right. So solidify the line, and I think the offense is fine. Gunner's fine. But my only criticism is our tight ends have disappeared the last few weeks. And
our tight ends have disappeared since Brock Bowers left. We haven't thrown.
We still used Lucky and Delp effectively last year. Like they had no targets against.
That's debatable.
Well,
we're not using him at all now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They've disappeared, and we have 2 good ones, and we have a freshman who caught a touchdown pass first game of the season who looks great.
But so. I'm really not worried about our offense right now. The area of concern is on the defense.
It's
primarily
it's pressure.
The defense in the first half to start the game.
Well, it's pressure. No sacks last night. You got 3 sacks on the year. You have to get pressure. You have these guys. Where's Medozi? I mean, they brought him in as a Russian specialist. Like, I don't even see him on the field.
Yeah, but let me just say this. The defense at the beginning of the game, we've been spotting teams 2-3 touchdowns.
Right.
In big games consistently over the past year or two. That just tells me that there's some level of lack of preparation going into these games where you show up, you have no idea what's going on until you get 2 drives in at least. And hopefully by then you figured out what you need to do to stop them, right. Which
that's why I said
Kirby's credit, to Kirby's credit, the changes and tweaks of whatever they make mid-game are better than anybody's. This is a perfect scenario.
Right.
Bama did not score a point in the second half.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's why this game, that's why I continue to criticize Kirby for this game being such a bad coaching job. Not so much about the decision to not kick the field goal, which is what most of the internet's talking about. It's more about the lack of preparation, right? You had a bye week and you just weren't prepared at all for what Alabama was going to do. So on the flip side, I do want to talk a little bit about Alabama. We've spent a lot of time on Georgia here. And I want to talk a little bit about Alabama because coming into the season, this is what we thought Bama was going to be.
They are who we thought they were.
Yeah. They crapped the bed that first week against Florida State. And then they've looked like a monster on offense, which is what we thought they were going to be. They got they got a 5-star quarterback. They got a 5-star left tackle. They've got 3 5-stars at receiver. This is what they're supposed to be, and they're executing, and they're playing well. So for anybody that's down on Georgia for this game, I mean, they're playing good.
Even in that game against Florida State, Ty Simpson actually had pretty good numbers.
Yeah, Ty Simpson did. I mean, he's completing like 75% of his passes on the season.
Yeah, he's legit.
So for Bama, I think Bama. It was funny because Feinbaum was like, "Oh, this is an elimination game for Bama in the playoff," which I thought was dumb to say last week. Anyway, I think they're headed straight to the SEC championship game right now. I
don't know. They got to get past Vandy.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the preview, but I think they're playing well. I think they have gotten their guys healthy on the defensive line, which has helped. And they did. The thing is, we talked all about Georgia not getting pressure. They didn't have any sacks in the game either, did they? I don't think so. But they had a couple of good tackles for loss, but they didn't have any sacks. They didn't pressure Gunner too much. Gunner had a clean pocket most of the game. He just did throw it a lot, right?
Yeah, there was a half sack.
How can there only be? There would mean 2 people would have a half sack, but
that's what it was. It was 2 people had half a sack. So just one sack. One
sack. So I mean, it wasn't like Alabama was doing anything crazy.
That just shows how much better our offense is this year compared to last year.
Right. And
Carson
honestly,
Beck was getting blown up last year.
Right, and he was throwing picks. And so, like I said, after Gunner started, he was like 0 for 4 on those first 2 drives or something. We ended up 13 of 20, like 65% completion. So he was pretty much clean and completing passes. So Alabama's defense is good. I don't think their defense is great. I think their offense is really good. I think they're going to be trouble the rest of the season, and they'll be a playoff team, which is what we predicted at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. And that Jeremy Bernard, he impressed the hell out of me. I mean, Georgia couldn't tackle him.
They couldn't tackle him, but the receiver that looked most impressive for Bama last night to me was Horton.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he had 5 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown.
Isaiah Horton looked good. Like, he's like the third guy there, but he looked impressive to me.
Yeah.
Ryan Williams was fine. You know, he dropped that pass.
Yeah. It was just a really poor tackling performance from Georgia.
Yeah, it was. It was very bad.
And I feel like we're saying that more often.
Yeah. So,
but that's all that bitching aside, Georgia still has a fantastic football team. We're still going to be in every game for the rest of this season. There's going to be some tough ones. Still got Ole Miss, still got Texas. Still, Florida's not going to be super easy because they have a really good defense.
Right.
And Mississippi State might be one of the hardest games we have all year.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave Tennessee a run for the money.
Yeah.
So,
but the
last final thoughts I have on a couple of good things that I didn't mention. I like McCray a lot.
Yeah.
In short down, I wish we'd give him the ball a bit more. Bowens looks like a dude, but don't give up on Frazier. I know you have given up on him, but don't give up on Frazier yet. I didn't like that he didn't get a carry after the fumble. Like, I think he should have at least. Kirby pulled him entirely, and I know that's just not very Kirby. Like Kirby usually, like last year, every time Arian Smith dropped pass, we right back to him. So.
Well, but, dropping a pass and fumbling the ball.
Yeah, I know.
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
And that's as a running back, that's the one thing you can't do.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing Frazier consistently does.
Yeah.
And so, it sucked because it seemed like he was finally starting to break out.
Well, because that was his second carry of the game, and his first carry went for 24 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the last thing I'll say is this. If you want to look at this season and where it's going, look no further than Bama, who came out in week 1 and looked horrible. But the next couple of weeks, they had some get-right games. And they used those get-right games to get their offense fixed, to get their defense healthy. And you saw what they were last night. Georgia has that same opportunity. They've got the worst team in the SEC next week in Kentucky, right? Get right against Kentucky. And then go play an Auburn team that looks lost on offense right now. They can't block anybody.
They can't block anybody. They can't complete passes.
So you got 2 weeks to go. You got 2 get-right games before you got to play Ole Miss. Just like Bama had 2 get-right games before they had to play Georgia. Get yourself right, and then get that game against Ole Miss, an Ole Miss team that is a top 5 team that might still be top 5, to get your momentum and get you back on track. That's what Bama did. Georgia needs to follow that if they want to go far this season. And they have the chance.
Yep. I agree. There's light at the end of the tunnel, y'all. Georgia's still in it. Don't give up on them. Don't freak out. Don't fire everybody. We've got a good team, still have a good coaching staff, no matter what you think. But it's
still okay to go a little scorched earth.
It's okay to be mad about what happened.
Yeah.
Feel your feelings, people. Feel your feelings. But while you're feeling your feelings, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video so we can get more folks involved. And let us know in the chat what you think about the game and what you think about what we're saying. And share this with your friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump to the other big game, the Whiteout, which seems to be the perpetual letdown for Penn State.
Yeah, James Franklin, man, just can't get it done, right? He's 4-21 against top 10 teams.
Yeah, so Georgia fans, if you want to feel a little bit better about yourself, just be glad you're not a Penn State fan.
Because no matter what, home mojo, whiteouts, the whiteout sucks. Like I think it was Lanning pointed out, like their record in whiteout games is awful.
It's not very good. Well, I saw this today and it made me laugh. They said, why is it that whenever they do a whiteout game, they wear their blue jerseys?
I don't know,
I was like,
man.
I know. Yeah. It's like, why do they do that? Seems like they would wear white jerseys. Because if Georgia does a blackout, they're wearing black jerseys.
Yeah. Now, I must say, Penn State showed a little bit, down 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, came back to tie it.
They did.
Showed a little bit, but Drew Aller.
he was awful for 3/4 of that game. And then he had a really good stretch there at the end. He made some amazing throws.
But that pick was bad. The pick was bad.
Yeah. The pick was really bad.
But for Oregon, so here's the interesting thing. Oregon obviously lost in the playoff last year, but they now have won 23 straight regular season games. They won all of their Big Ten games last year, and they're undefeated in the Big Ten this year in the regular season. So since joining the Big Ten, Oregon has not lost a regular season football game. Still.
Yeah. When I think Big Ten, I think Oregon.
Right. So
no, Oregon's legit. I mean,
right.
If anything tells you anything about Georgia's defensive struggles, look no further than Oregon with Dan Lanning. That was a big piece that is not there at Georgia anymore.
Right. Well, yeah. When I was talking about Georgia and the coaching staffs, I mean, 2021, 2022, you had Dan Lanning and Todd Monken, So, and not to say that Schumann isn't good, but he hasn't shown that he is as good as Lanning was, and even as Mel Tucker was before that. So,
yeah, but Oregon, they're impressive. They're an impressive team. Dante Moore is really good.
Yep,
he's really, really good. If you haven't kept up with him, you should. He seems, I don't know. He seems like he fits Oregon offense better than any other Oregon quarterback before.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the performance he put on, right? 29 to 39, 248, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And he had 35 yards rushing as well. It's got 14 touchdowns on the season, 1 pick. Completing what? He's completing 75% of his passes. So he's definitely fitting in there. Yeah, Oregon's a dangerous team. And, they've got a bye week, right? This week, I think. And then they play Indiana. And right now, that's the last.
That's going to be a good. That's going to be a good game.
So it's the last ranked team left on their schedule because USC lost. So they're out. Their schedule, they beat Indiana. Go ahead and put them in the Big Ten championship again. That's because I don't.
Yeah, that'll probably happen.
Yeah.
But man, I'm looking forward to that game. That'll be fun.
Yep. That'll be a fun one. Yep.
Yeah. Anything else on Penn State, Oregon?
Nah, James Franklin can't get it done. Keith's getting it done. It's funny. Georgia loses by 3 at home to an Alabama team that's playing great, and they drop 7 spots in the poll. Penn State loses at home, and they drop 3 or 4 spots.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Nah.
Especially because and they had a team coming across the country,
right,
to play them. And Oregon, they shut down that run game.
Mm-hmm.
One of, if not the best rushing attack in the country, which I don't think we can say that now.
No, I mean,
Katron Allen had 12 carries for 54 yards.
Which isn't horrendous. It's just not enough carries, right?
Nick
Singleton had 11 carries, 21 yards.
Yeah.
That's not good. Yeah, I mean, that vaunted Penn State running game had 139 yards on 35 carries. So, and it looked, Aller had 20 of that on 1 rush. So a lot of that was Drew Aller scrambling. So,
Yeah,
It's
not looking good for them.
no. And they've still got, some tough games ahead, so we'll see.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I'm glad to see Street has relaxed a little bit too.
Anger.
Just angry Street's fun. I like it. All right. Another big game. This was. I watched this game and I don't. I couldn't get that into it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about this game, right? Last couple of weeks we've done our rankings. 2 weeks in a row I faded LSU. We had them really high, and both weeks I spoke on it. And one of my reasons was that the Clemson win looks worse and worse every week, and they haven't developed consistency on offense. Their defenses look good, but Nussmeier is supposed to be this Heisman candidate, but he hasn't impressed me, and he didn't look good. And what happened this week? They played Ole Miss, and he didn't have a great game. And now Ole Miss all of a sudden has got this JUCO or Division II quarterback that, Lane made a point that he wasn't going to take a quarterback this year out of the portal, a big time quarterback, because they had all this faith in Simmons, right? And then Simmons looks like he's lost his job to this other kid who looks
Trinidad
like
Chambliss,
who may be
love that name. That's a great
Trophy
name.
candidate. People are already talking about on the radio. What a game for him! 385 total yards.
Yeah, he's a dude.
He's a dude. He's playing well in that system for Lane, and if they get their defense going like they did last year, they'd be a dangerous team.
Oh, they're definitely a dangerous team. I mean, their defense. We still don't really know what their defense is, and the only reason I say that is because LSU's offense has been so horrible this year, and it makes no sense. If LSU could change anything, they need to just feed Harlem Berry, because when they finally started giving him the ball, their offense started moving the ball.
Yeah. But
yeah,
it'll be a huge game.
I'm definitely down on LSU now. They're a pretender in my book,
right?
Which I was skeptical of them going into the season. I wasn't really understanding why people were putting them so far up on the SEC power rankings.
Yeah,
but
and Kelly continues to throw his quarterback under the bus. Yeah, and like he was like, yeah, Garrett needs to play better. Like, hey, come on, man. Like
Brian Kelly gonna Brian Kelly.
Yep. So, for Ole Miss, obviously the big game is in Athens in a couple weeks. They've got a bye. They've got Washington State. So kind of another, a former P4 team, but not the same that they were even last year when they had Mateer. So they'll come into Athens ready. Last time they kind of kicked Georgia's ass last year. So, but last time they came to Athens, Georgia put 50 on. So that'll be interesting. And like I said, if Georgia uses these next two games to get right, should be a hell of a fight.
Yeah, that's going to be a big game. That's going to be a really huge game.
Yep.
Okay, just some other things from the weekend. We saw Virginia upset FSU, which was a huge surprise on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And it's probably because they played on a Friday night.
And Squirrel White died in the end zone on Friday night. I love that they had all these things on. It was like missing poster. Have you seen this man, Squirrel White? Like, okay, Virginia, the hill with no fids. Like, seriously?
Yeah, I
the
noticed that
field thing.
Like about halfway through the game, I'm looking at that end zone thinking, if this goes how I think it's going to go, this is not good.
No. Tennessee.
But, yeah. I mean, where does that put FSU now? I mean,
they've got to play Miami this week. So,
So we'll know now. We'll know this
we'll
week.
know now. Takes a little bit
that could just be a trap game type thing where they were overlooking. Game. Yeah, they were just overlooking Virginia.
They were looking ahead. Yeah, could be. Yeah.
Yeah, big in Bama. AP poll means absolutely nothing. 100%. And just like ours is going to be.
Yeah. A couple other notes. Tennessee survived Mississippi State, which
now that was a fun game. That was a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
I was so hoping Mississippi State was going to pull that out. They played so hard. They had a chance. If their quarterback would have just hit his receiver in stride there at the end of the game when he had him wide open, he walks in for a touchdown. But instead, he kind of threw it wobbly, and the receiver caught it and fell down. And I think they ended up having to settle for a field goal. It might have missed that field goal too. I can't remember that part, but
yeah,
I just felt bad for them because they had Tennessee. They had them.
Yeah, I thought TCU had Arizona State on Friday night as well. Arizona State came back, pulled that out, kept themselves alive, in the Big 12, which, when we talk about next week, is getting interesting because there's some teams that are kind of really getting it going there in the Big 12. So it was important for them, TCU, to pull it out there. And then Indiana had to play Iowa after a week where they just scored at will, and they played an Iowa football game that ended with one of the funniest covers or not covers of the game.
Yeah.
I've seen in a long time because they were up and they just decided to take the safety and they ran all the way back. Like, that's such an Iowa way to end the game. Like, last play you lose on a safety. I mean, you don't lose the game because of the safety, but you cover because of it.
I just appreciated whoever was calling the game. He said, "Oh, someone's going to care about that." That's going to mean something to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a funny ending.
Yeah. And then last news of the weekend, Notre Dame beat the crap out of Arkansas. And we got to pour one out for our boy. Have a cold beer. Enjoy your buyout, Sam, and come be the offensive line coach in Athens again, please.
Yeah.
We'll let you turn the jukebox up back here in Athens. So
Absolutely.
It's the Bobby Petrino experience 2.0 in Arkansas.
He's back. He's like a cockroach. You can't get rid of him. No matter how well you try, Bobby Petrino will still be there.
Yep.
He's kind of like Joe Hendry. Say his name, he appears.
Yeah. Oh, man. But it was a good week. This was a good week of football. These big matchups and stuff. Hurts that Georgia lost, but was still a good one.
Yeah. It does hurt, but still got a lot of football to play. A lot of big games coming up. And we got our Nitro CFB top 10 coming up. But before we get to that, make sure you like this video, hit the subscribe to the channel button, be a friend, tell a friend. Okay. So we're going to do it a little differently this week. We decided that me and Street are going to kind of talk this one out and figure out what this Nitro top 10 is going to be.
Yeah.
Because he usually puts out his list and then I comment on it and we kind of go from there. So today we were having a little bit more debate. So I was like, hey, let's just talk about it on the show. So Here we are. All right. So I guess let's do it this way. We'll start at 1 and just work our way down. And then I'll show the results here at the end.
Sure.
All right. So I think we both agree Ohio State still number 1.
To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Exactly. At number 2, this is where we had but this is probably like the most minor disagreement.
Yeah.
You have Miami at 2. I have Oregon at 2. I think
it just goes back to, for me, it just goes back to Miami's body of work, right? You've got to win over Notre Dame. You got to win over USF that was ranked. You got to win over Florida. And I think their defenses looked really good. They're going to play Florida State next week, so you'll know a little bit more. I just think the body of work right now, if I was ranking them there, that's where I put them.
So you're saying I'm having some recency bias?
I think you are, because Oregon.
I think I am too.
I mean, Oregon went on the road and won at Penn State, and that's awesome, but they hadn't really played much competition before, and they were blowing people out relatively easy. So, and they did it all year last year too. So, and they're on a 23-game win streak. So it's hard to argue either way. I think you're safe with both of them there. I just went with body of work.
All right. That makes sense to me. All right. So Miami, number 2, Oregon 3. Okay. Let's see. Where was your list? Let me make sure I cover it. Who do you got at 4?
I got Ole Miss at number 4. Because their offenses looked impressive every game, and their defense looked good here on the road. And they were a good team last year who just missed the playoff last year. And I thought, oh, well, they had all these transfers and all this stuff. But now they're back looking really good, but they're looking good on defense, good on offense. They've impressed me. So to me, just because of the experience and because what Lane's doing, and because Simmons was fine, but this other guy has seemed to even take him to the next level, maybe. To me, that says I got him up there at number 4.
I agree with that. They're rolling. Big win over a top 10 team. I'm good with them at 4.
Yeah. At 5, I've got Oklahoma, and it's going to be a little bit of a, hey, Florida State a couple years ago. Mateer's out right now. And yes, they said it's going to be a quick recovery, but when he's not in there, they're not as good to me. So their defense has been great, and he's been awesome, but that just bumps them down a little. Didn't bump them far. But I just put Ole Miss above them, but just for me right now.
Yeah, I agree with that one too. Although I think with Mateer out, we could see some bad things happen for OU.
Yeah. Well, they say that now they're saying that they're hopeful he might be able to play against Texas. So that's going to be the big one. It's a couple weeks away, but if they can get him back, I mean, it was a broken bone on his throwing hand, so you never know.
That can't be good. Okay, who you got at number 6?
At 6, I got Penn State. You lost to Oregon in overtime, right? You fought back in the fourth quarter. Yeah, you were at home, but I still think that they have all the things that made you think they were a top 5 team this year is still there. And you lost a game at home that you fought back and you almost won. You got it to overtime when you were down 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. That shows me a little bit. So to me, I think kind of out of the groups of newer undefeated teams and 1-loss teams, to me right now, I think they're the best there.
Yeah, I think Penn State's at 6 as well. So not much debate there. But now here's where it gets a little nutty. Who you got for 7?
I got Texas A&M at 7. They've got, good wins, and they're well coached, and they're undefeated, and they beat Notre Dame, who was ranked, who, if you watch Notre Dame play Arkansas, they destroyed Arkansas and looked like everything you thought they were going to be on offense against an SEC team. So to me, that Notre Dame playing that well against Arkansas actually helped my impression of Texas A&M. And so that's kind of where I've got them there.
Okay. So I was between them and Indiana because I don't want to forget about Indiana, even though they haven't played that many good teams, if at all. I think it was just Iowa and Illinois are like their two big wins right now.
Yeah.
But
I mean, honestly, after 7 and kind of all the way down, it's kind of a pick your poison, right? But I think
yeah.
I also think about like what Pate says about his, like, if you were looking at these teams, who would be favored in a neutral site right now? Like, would you favor Indiana over Texas A&M? I wouldn't.
Actually, I kind of would.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Mendoza, the quarterback for Indiana, I think he's better than Marcel Reed.
Okay.
I'm not on the Marcel Reed hype train anymore. I've seen
Okay.
enough that it's just not impressing me.
Okay.
So
It's fair.
Yeah. So that's why I kind of use that same thought process too. Who would win on a neutral site?
So I had Texas A&M there. You had Indiana. So who'd you have at 8? You may have Texas A&M. I don't have Indiana in my top 10. So who do you have at 8?
So right now at 8, it's either going to be A&M or Indiana, and then.
Well, then I thought you had Indiana at 7.
Well, we're debating on where we put them.
I know, but I said I had A&M at 7, and you said, "Oh, I had Indiana."
Yeah.
Right?
So
I know. I just meant who did you have at 8? That's what I meant.
So I thought you did a good job making the case for A&M at 7. So I can go along with that.
Okay.
So I got Indiana at 8.
So I've got Alabama at 8 because I think they've turned into everything that you thought they were going to be. And they went on the road and won in a tough environment. And they looked impressive doing it, even though they may have should have lost the game. And I think the talent's there, and I think they put it all together. And just like Notre Dame losing early in the season last year to a team they shouldn't have lost to, I think it's galvanized them. So I've got Alabama at 8 right now.
Let's see. I stand strong with Indiana being ranked ahead of them. Just body of work.
Okay.
I mean, Indiana hasn't lost. Alabama has lost.
Fair enough.
On a neutral site. Right now, I think that would be a very interesting game.
Fair enough. All right, we'll go with Indiana at 8. Who do you have at 9?
Bama.
So I got Georgia at 9. I think, everything we said, right? Probably should have won. Maybe should have lost the week before. Still a good team. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to compare them, I had Alabama ahead. So put Alabama at 9.
And then rounding out at 10, I've got Georgia.
So here's the interesting debate. So I had Georgia before, so I guess we'll put Georgia there. But at 10, I had Texas Tech. And I know Texas Tech, but look at the numbers. Okay. We all know Texas Tech spent all this money.
Make the case for Texas Tech.
They spent all this money, bought this team, right? Here's the numbers. They are 11th in the country overall in offense. They are 2nd in the country overall in defense. They are 8th in the country in scoring defense. And they are 2nd in the country in scoring offense. So when we look historically, we look at these teams that have gone far in the college football playoff. It's not these teams that are one-sided, that are 10th, or 5th in defense and 25th even in offense. It's the teams that are inside those, top 10, top 15 in both those categories. They are looking impressive. They are beating people down. They're scoring tons of points. Their defense looks good. I mean, second in the country against the rush. They're leading the country in passing offense. They're still 35th in the country in rushing. So 573 yards a game on offense and only 239 yards a game on defense. Those are impressive numbers on both sides of the ball. And I think they spent a lot of money and they've got talent. And I think they're good. I think they're for real. They've got a game this week against another undefeated Big 12 team in Houston.
I think they're for real. So just with all the numbers that you just put out, the argument against it would be, well, they haven't played anybody. And what I would say to that is, yes, they haven't really played anybody, but they're doing what they're supposed to against the teams that are nobody.
Well, and they're not just doing what they're supposed to; they're killing everybody. And when you're in that mode of building momentum, like Bama did, get right. But their last two games were tougher, a little bit better competition. They played Oregon State and they played Utah, who was ranked 16th. So they do have a ranked win in there. And that was a game that was close until late, but they put up 24 points in the fourth quarter of that game and put them away. And their quarterback is not hurt, or he's fine. That was a concern that he was hurt. So that's why I had them at 10. But like I said, I had Georgia ahead of them. We're going to keep Georgia. We'll put Georgia at 10 and
keep them honorable mention. Texas Tech and Tennessee.
They'll be hanging out with Tennessee and Texas and Georgia Tech.
Okay, so the official Nitro CFB top 10. We have Ohio State at number 1, Miami at number 2, Oregon at 3, Ole Miss at 4, Oklahoma at 5, Penn State at 6, Texas A&M at 7, Indiana 8, Bama 9, and Georgia 10.
Yep.
Tell us what you think. Where did we go wrong? We'll
be back, and we'll be back with our preview show on Wednesday. Is that right?
Yes. Yep, we will. And any other parting words before we wrap up this week?
Nah, just this was probably Kirby's worst coached game, his worst coaching output, and Georgia lost. And the Bama mystique, if Bama's our Florida, whatever it is, it's there, and it's going to be there until we start winning games. So disappointing loss. Season ain't over. We'll get them. Let's get right.
I agree. All right. Subscribe if you love college football. We drop this every week on Sunday nights at 9. Follow us on our socials, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Nitro CFB. We'll post some clips from the shows and make them look good and sound funny and provocative. And tune in Wednesday. We'll like Street said, we'll drop our preview show, and we'll be back next week with our Week 6 recap and Nitro CFB top 10.
Yep.
Until then, I'm Burl.
I'm Street.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.